Cruz, the boxing show that's knocking out the competition. The kick-ass podcast that make you want to listen. The place where boxing fans and fighters rejoice. Thumbs up for Richie, you're listening to The Fighter's Voice.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Richard Ortiz of The Fighter's Voice, the only voice that matters. And I want to let you know our guest on the show today is undefeated, 21-0, 7 of those wins coming by way of knockout. I'm looking at his chair right now. He looks like the Godfather. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome our guest, GIOVANNI Cabrera. Welcome to The Fighter's Voice, Gio.
Once again, thank you for having me, Richard.
Hey, man, it's always a pleasure having you on the show. You very respectful, class act. You fill me in with the news, and you let me know what's going on in the boxing world. And, if you got some news to share, let's jump right into it. Or if not, I got to pick your brain. I got to find out, what's next in the sport of boxing. But let's rewind a little bit. What did you think about the Devin Haney-Lomachenko fight, first of all? And the preparation leading up to the fight, what did you think about the outcome? Should they run it back? And who did you have winning on the scorecards?
I think it was a very close fight. I think Devin Haney used his height and his range to try to stop Lomachenko's offense. But I think it was a very close fight. It could have been, if you're leaning towards Devin Haney, I think it could have been a tie. In which case he would keep his belt, and I think that's the best case scenario for Devin Haney. But I think Lomachenko is the rightful undisputed champion right now.
Those are some strong words, man, and coming from the boxing world. Later on he revealed Lomachenko that he took the 12th round off. Win, lose, or draw, I always feel that, you need to finish strong because you want to leave the best impression that you can with the judges, especially fighting in Las Vegas, especially fighting anywhere. You don't want to leave it in the judges' hands. You got 7 knockouts, and you've been fortunate to have those other victories other than taking matters in your own hands by knockout, by dominating your opponents. Has it ever concerned you going into a fight thinking, hey, I can't let this go the distance. I can't leave it in the judge's hands?
I think that I knew always that anybody that's in there with me is going to have a terrible time. My style is unique, and I'm very hard to deal with. I know that I'm, and let's just say the 7 knockouts. I'm 21-0, 7 knockouts, but I've also defeated more undefeated fighters than any of the champions currently sitting. So, I mean, that says a lot. If I would have fought 7 more stiffs, I would have had 7 more knockouts, and all of a sudden, I would have been compared to a king. Let's not forget the realistic aspect of boxing and boxing matchmaking and how one protects their careers all the way to the top, or how one psychologically conditions a fighter to think he's a killer, and then they take a risk at some point in their career when it's worth the money. That's the reality of the sport. I didn't have that luxury. So immediately I fought 7 undefeated fighters, time and time again. When I was 8-0, I fought a guy 8-0. When I was like 6-0, I fought a guy 6-0. Constantly, putting myself on the line and coming out victorious. So the knock that should be in the back of people's minds when they look at my record.
Well, I mean, I followed you, and I've noticed that they're not afraid to give you an undefeated opponent. It seems to work in your favor. You don't seem to buckle under the pressure. You seem to welcome it and embrace it, and it's been successful for you. Let's jump ahead because come July, I'm looking here. You're about to face one of the most dangerous fighters in the world. Let's pick up where we left off. Come July 29th, you're the co-main event on the long-awaited Bud Crawford, Errol Spence showdown. And you're taking on one of the big names in boxing, one of the premier names that's actually not a world champion, but what he brings to the table and what he brings to everybody is speed, power, finesse, just very aggressive. And we're talking about Isaac "PITBULL" Cruz. How long did it take you to accept that fight once they proposed it and offered it to you?
Well, I think my manager, Jolene from management, called me and she asked me, "Hey, Gio, things are happening. You just got offered a huge fight. I want you to take your time and think about this. And she says, do you want to fight Pitbull Cruz?
Excuse me.
And I waited about 5 seconds, saying, absolutely.
Okay, so they proposed the fight to you. You didn't even give it a second thought. You said, you know what, let's do this. I want to make this fight happen. I mean, you know, how much experience in getting these big fights do you have, or is this the biggest fight, as we know, that's been offered to you?
I mean, I was offered to fight Cambosos, which I accepted immediately as well. I was offered to fight Maxie Hughes, which I accepted immediately as well. And they clearly thought it was a better fight to fight each other than to face El Cabrón Cabrera. So,
You know what? We talked about it last time, man. Who gave you that nickname? Where did that come from?
um, it's something that I had been thinking of for a long time. My brother, everyone thinks I'm a little bit too quiet. People want to hear shit talking. People want to do all that, and
Yeah.
that's not really my style. So I wanted to pick a name to let what I have here, and the 7 undefeated fighters have tasted defeat, and they figured out very quickly who is El Cabron. But my brother had actually had thought about that. He had mentioned that name to me even before I came to Wildcard. And then a photographer named Vicente Salazar actually said, "Hey, something happened. Something happened in sparring with Manny Pacquiao, and I did really well that day." And they said, "Wow, man, you know what you did today was amazing, and they're never gonna forget. They're never gonna forget what you did today." And I said, "Wow, man." He's like, "Este güey es el cabrón. Hay que decirle el cabrón. We should call this guy el cabrón." And I was like, "You know what? It's come up a few times, and you know what? I loved it. Especially no
You
one's ever
accept
had
it.
it before.
And there you go. And a shout out to
A lot of
Miguel
them."
Salazar. I mean, does a great job in photography, and not only that, I mean, he builds relationships with fighters that are legit. I mean, he goes fishing with Lomachenko. He chills with Manny Pacquiao. He chills with yourself, and he's a wild card favorite. And he's true to the sport.
Absolutely, absolutely. That guy, he was there, man. That guy was fucking hilarious. We were taking COVID tests, and everyone's lining up every day, getting the thing. He was actually he was volunteering, and he was just jamming it in people's nose. He's like, feed me your tears. I fucking love that guy, man. He some unique pieces, some unique shirts and merchandise of like one of a kind, like Freddie Roach shirts, Manny Pacquiao shirts. But yeah, he was part of the reason why I like that name.
Yeah, I actually bought some of his merchandise. I have the Triple G. I have the Manny Pacquiao, and I also have Lomachenko. Some of the shirts that I've ordered through him, and yeah, they are unique. They are different. I got a lot of compliments when I would wear them. They have the face on there, and they're kind of smiling. I believe it's off the artwork photography that he's a part of. Giving his photography, his pictures,
Yeah,
giving them life.
if he's watching, hey man, make a way to the fight. It'd be an honor for you to snap some pics of that night.
Exactly, man. Or just, hey, the fighter's voice itself. Actually, I gave him a shirt, and he rocks it every now and then. And speaking of that, I still owe you a shirt. I'm gonna be heading up there to Vegas for that big fight, so I'm gonna catch you a fight week, and I'll just give it to you in person.
Yeah, man, I'm so excited, man. This is the biggest biggest reward if I win. I catapult myself to basically one of the number one contenders in the world. I'm ready to fight whoever. I'm ready to fight whoever, and me, Pitbull Cruz, only solidifies that statement. And I think people are going to be shocked at my performance.
I got to correct you right now, man. I heard something. And it's just kind of bugging me. It's not setting well with me. And Sean Gibbons, if you're listening, hey, no, don't take any offense to it. You said if I win. No, when you win going into that fight. I heard you say if I win.
Absolutely.
No, Gio. It's when you win the fight.
That's my attempt at being humble, but no, I have full confidence that I'm going to win the fight.
There you go. There you go. And a friend of mine, Sean Gibbons, is the manager of Pitbull Cruz. He actually sent me a picture with a thumbs up for Richie. So we may be having him on the show leading up to that big bout. And I tell you what, man, I'm going to be glued to the seat, man. I'm going to be, just biting my nails through the
You
whole
know,
process of that fight. So
this is a
just
super
let you
fight,
know, man.
super card, and the fans are in for a treat. I mean, what a historic night! I think this fight's gonna be bigger than Tank versus Ryan. I think it's bigger than any than Lomachenko and Haney. I mean, it's we're getting the best fights, and whatever people may know or not know about Pitbull. Or no, everybody knows Pitbull. They don't know about me. A lot of people are writing me off. Well, man, I tell you, it's not going to be easy for either of us to win. It's not going to be easy for either of us to walk out that night the same as when we entered. So it's going to be a war. It's going to be a war, and I'm just part to be. I'm so happy to be part of such a historic fight. You know, I respect Pitbull. I think he's a damn good fighter. He's got a great style, and that day us Mexican fighters we're gonna leave it on y vamos a dejar en alto los boxeadores mexicanos. We're gonna give something to the culture that we're representing the people, and I just want to give some fireworks for the people.
No, man, I'm looking forward to that. I mean, what do you know about him? Have you met him personally? Have you ever sparred with him before? Have you ever met him? What do you know about him
Mm,
outside of
I,
the ring?
I've studied all of his fights. Once I found out I was fighting him, I think he's got a great fire. I think I'm training like a demon. I don't take anything lightly. I know what an animal he is, and I'm an animal too. So you're gonna see something special July 29th.
Well, I'm looking forward to that, man. I'm gonna have to get with your team. I got to make sure that I get in there. I'm putting in to cover the fight through media, but I got to make sure I'm there, man. There's no way I can sit back and watch you on the screen. I got to be there, brother. I'm just, hey, we'll make a way. That's all I got to say. Is the fighter's
Absolutely,
voice will be.
absolutely.
So, I mean, how is this training camp? It has to be a little different, Gio. Without giving too much away. What is Freddie doing that's different, or is it kind of the same calm camp leading up to this fight?
Same com cam, but I'm not changing. I mean, the only thing is, I'm I am. This is the most important fight of my career, so I'm taking it very seriously. There's times where the energy is more relaxed, but I know the magnitude of the event. I could feel it from here, man. I could feel it from here. I could hear the people now, man, and it's lighting a fire under my ass. If you don't feel that nervousness, that fear, then man, there's something wrong with you. Because you better feel that. If you don't feel that, then you have no chance in beating me. Because if you feel that, that means you respect me to the level. And if you don't have that kind of seriousness in your training versus me, then you will lose. But I do have that respect for Pitbull, so just know that he better be in the best shape of his life, because I am.
Well, I don't got to tell you that against him. I mean, you got to keep your hands up at all time. You can't afford to make any mistakes because he's that type of fighter, and so are you. You've proven it, and you really surprised me on the Gabriel Flores fight with not your boxing ability, but just your power, and you displayed it early on, and you never looked back since then. You know, and now I see you in some of your sparring and some of your footage. I mean, you're really sitting down on your punches. You're still kind of awkward. You're still kind of hard to study, but I noticed that the pop has increased. Is that through the years? I mean, or is it the technique, or are you and Freddie just in the laboratory creating something and it's just coming to pass?
Absolutely. It took a while for me to get back into my full form. I had a 2.5 year layoff before I started again, and I had to enter a new level of training, a new level of creativity, professionalism. Being around Freddie Roach, sparring top world fighters, going over 65 rounds with Manny Pacquiao. I mean, it's just so much to digest and so much to learn, and just constantly being in the gym and being ready and hoping. I was accepting every fight they were throwing at me, and they all decided other fights. Some fights weren't worth the risk or the money. It's just
Yeah.
everything lines up perfectly. So I'm giving my time now, and I'm just hoping to make my family proud, make the people from Leon, Guanajuato, Chicago, all the places that I've stepped, and all the people that know me. I win, we all win, baby. Let's fucking go. I'm ready for this shit, man.
You know that the press conference that you're going to be a part of, it's going to be off the chain. You're going to be part of that tour. You know, the co-main event. I mean, you're right there with all the big names, and you know, you get a chance to make an impact worldwide. I mean, people have watched you, you know, perform on national TV, but pay-per-view event.
Pay
You
per
know,
view,
nobody
man.
gets up and leaves for the co-main event. I mean, they're there watching this thing.
Yeah, man. I think this is how it goes. I mean, timing meets luck, meets preparation, means circumstance. I mean, Pitbull. I mean, he had his time, he had his shots. He's lost a few times. I don't know what that feels like, and I'm not gonna know what it feels like. I'm ready, man. I'm so fucking ready for this, man. I've been waiting for my opportunity to show, and finally I have a top tier animal, a bull, and I'm gonna turn him all night.
And have you went as far as the thought process? What song are you coming in with? What do you plan on wearing inside of the ring?
That is a surprise, my friend. That is a surprise. Just know that it's gonna be crazy, man. We're gonna make some fucking noise. Trust me. I have a big surprise, man. Big surprise.
Okay, how about the song? Is that part of the surprise too, or we can wait on that?
It may be, man. I just know it's gonna be a spectacle. It's gonna be. No one's gonna expect this.
Okay.
I promise you. All heads will
Okay.
look. Everyone might jump up and down, man. It's gonna be insane.
Hey, I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking at your chair right now, man. I got to ask you about it, man. It kind of looks like a throwback to the dark ages. It kind of looks like the Al Pacino chair in Scarface, man. Tell us about that chair that you're sitting on.
Man, we had an interior designer come in and put some furniture in here, so this is one of them. But yeah, I like it, man. It's like a throne, very young Pacino.
There you go. You know, and we're gonna get back to the boxing world. I understand you shot some videos or you did some acting. Tell us about that process and what was the experience like? And can we see more of you and possibly on the big stage?
Well, I was contacted by my good friend Robert Sally, and he had done some fight choreography for the Rocky movies, and he trained Michael B. Jordan. He did the Ali movie. He casted Gabe Rosado in the Creed movies, and he, for some reason, I talked to him. He says, "Man, I don't know why." He's a big fan of boxing, loves boxing, been in boxing 20 years, has helped some young fighters, and what he helped some young fighters, and one day one day he's just sitting in his chair, and all of a sudden my name pops into his head. So it was he calls me up and he asked me, and I was a fight coordinator for Quantum Leap, the show on NBC, and I did a couple other things. You know, they keep. I've always been a big fan of film, big fan of Quentin Tarantino, big fan of Martin Scorsese. You know, some of the classic movies, and if I have a big enough name where they want to pay me to be, to work on a cool project with some of the people that I admire, then why not? I will. It's easier to get hit in the face, right?
Exactly. Well, I mean, I can see you have that Hollywood look. A close friend of mine, Shelly Hollis, said, "Hey, Rich, we need to go down to Wild Card and shoot this kid, make him a reel, because I believe it's if it's in the right hands that this guy's going to take off." In other words, in your career, not just the boxing world, but sky's the limit.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that, man. I think I have a lot to say, man, and I'm waiting on my time to say everything that I want to say. But first, I have to win. I have to ascend to the next level after I beat Pitbull, and that's the number one thing on my list right now.
Well,
But
I mean, there's some other fights that are.
when I beat Pitbull Cruz, I have my next opponent in mind, man, and I can't wait. I cannot wait to call this guy out.
Oh, then you're gonna make it known. Hey, I want to share the ring with you.
What was that?
Oh, then you're gonna make it known worldwide that you want to share the ring with this cat.
Absolutely, man. I got something for this guy.
Well, there you go, man. I mean, there's a fight taking place this Saturday in women's boxing. You got Clarissa Shields taking on Cornejo, and that wasn't the original opponent, but when her name was called, she accepted, And I expect fireworks this Saturday. You have the GOAT, and Clarissa Shields and Conejo in her biggest fight ever, and I like the fact that she's embracing it. There was no let me think about it. Let's change the numbers. She accepted the opportunity to take on one of the baddest women ever to lace up the gloves, and that's gonna be live on DAZN, man, this Saturday. So if you're not doing nothing, man, make sure you got to tune in, brother.
Absolutely, I know Cornejo a bit. We've met and we've talked a few times. She's a hard worker, definitely very brave, definitely very charismatic. I wish her the best. She's gonna have a great fight with Clarissa, and may the best woman win.
There you go.
I'll definitely.
I want to get your take. No, go ahead, brother.
No, go ahead, please.
No, I want to get your take on. There's a fight that's coming up, and it's pretty. It's close. I had Lee Samuels reach out to me today, Hall of Famer from Top Rank Boxing. He said, Richard, who do you have winning this fight, Teofimo Lopez or Josh Taylor? That's June 10th in New York City. I said it's a 50-50 fight going in. It'd be tough to pick a winner. What do you think of the matchup, and who do you have walking out with all the bouts when it's all said and done?
I think it's a great matchup. I think it's a great matchup, man. I think that fight is pretty damn 50-50. But I do think that Josh Taylor is bigger. And I always say a bigger, better man always wins. And I think that's the case for me and Pitbull as well. He's good, he's tough, he's strong, but I'm tough, I'm good, I'm strong, and bigger. I think it's the same case for Josh Taylor. I think he's got a great slick boxing style, but Teofimo Lopez does as well, and he can come forward. But I just show if he shows up, Teofimo can beat any lightweight. But he's had some, questionable performances here and there. But I think he does have what it takes to potentially beat Josh. But I think it's going to be tough. Josh has got the reach on him. He's got the experience in the weight class. So I'm leaning a little bit towards Josh Taylor.
You know what? I have to agree with you. I think Teofimo is very athletic. He's well prepared, as he was too in his last two outings. He didn't look sensational. I thought he did enough to get the W. But we got to remember, Josh Taylor's last fight, he didn't look like the Josh Taylor that showed up in the ring with Jose Ramirez when he unified. But every dog has his day. There could only be one winner. I just know Josh Taylor's just a different type of animal once he's in there. He's actually pretty mean. When the ref says protect yourself at all times, you got to look at the tape, man. And, especially at the break, Josh lets those hands go, and he is the bigger guy. I think he may be the stronger of the two. You just can't count Teofimo out with that punching power and his athleticism. That's a tough call, brother. I can tell you who I'm leaning towards, but that may change once that first bell
I
rings.
think it's similar to how Lomachenko and Devin Haney's fight went. I think if I looked at the highlights, if I saw some vintage Lomachenko in there. I can't.
Yeah.
I saw some clever boxing from Haney using of size and distance and going into the body, but I didn't see anything highlight worthy from him. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
but Lomachenko was using his athleticism, his angles, his footwork, and it was still, if you're leaning towards Haney, it was Haney's size that made the difference. If you compare that to Teofimo's athleticness, his footwork, his slick stuff, it's all very good, but I think it might be just a little, the size difference may be a little much, and that fight was at 135 and Haney's at 135, Teofimo is moving up, so. And versus a very slick, comfortable boxer who unified.
Exactly. Very, very well put. Now, let me ask you this. Who is the king of the 140-pound division? You got to remember, you got Arnold Barboza in there. Of course, you got Jose Ramirez in there. You got Josh Taylor, Teofimo Lopez. Devin Haney made it apparent that he is moving up to 140 pounds. Don't give me this baloney as I'm not sure. That's just a way of negotiating. I mean, he's a 140-pounder. Ryan Garcia made it clear. I don't know if Tank Davis is actually going to move up to 140 or not. But you got some big names in there. Who do you have clearing out the whole division? Who would you put your last dollar on? I believe, and then I'll give you my take on the 140-pound division.
Mm, I'm gonna. I think so far Josh Taylor has proven to be the best.
Okay, now I'm forgive me. I didn't even say Regis Prograis. I'm sorry, the champion, WBC champion, the Rougarou,
I think
two-time world champion.
toss up between Regis and Josh. You know, they both. I mean, I like stylistic fighters. I like slick fighters, and I like that style a little bit more. You know, like anybody. Well, not anybody can bang. That's not true. But you know, I always like the finesse. I like showing that you're smarter. I like frustrating people, and I admire that in both of them. So I think they're the most skilled in the division right now.
I agree with you. You know, I will say that as of today, until somebody dethrones him, Josh Taylor is the kingpin of the 140-pound division. And I will say Regis Prograis is the face of the 140-pound division. But I think the one who does take the whole division hasn't quite yet moved up to 140 pounds. And I'm talking about Shakur Stevenson because he's going to give them all the run for their money once in fact, he moves up to the 140-pound division.
Yeah, you know what, Shakur's got skills, man. He's got a great jab, great distance, good defense. He can make it difficult for anybody. Um, I think he's younger than those guys. I don't know how his power is, and how his power will be, or how his chin will react. But I've seen him in the gym, not personally, but you know, I'm sure he's done some work with Terrence Crawford, and if he's able to move around with Crawford, then he must have a pretty good chin.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you. One of my favorites going in is and I'm partial when it comes to this is of course Jose Ramirez, who's a personal friend of mine. But doing what I do, I have to separate myself from the friendship and what I see what I see that's out there. Because on paper, yes, okay, we can say this person, like I said earlier, Shakur. I still think that Jose has enough left to be a difficult fight for anybody because he applies pressure um, stronger and better than anybody in the whole 140-pound division. But then you run into athleticism. Then you run into uh, boxing generalship. Then you run into opportunity. When I say opportunity, I'm talking about accepting these big fights, allowing yourself to participate in these big fights, whether it comes down to numbers, I need more time, or what have you. If you want to seek greatness, you have to take risk in boxing. And sometimes it's if it's not your purse, it's your preparation, which a professional fighter, Oscar De La Hoya said it best. As a professional, you have to maintain yourself all year long because you never know when you're going to get that phone call.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, it's been a year since my last fight. You know, I signed a 3-fight deal with Top Rank. I thought I did a good job at beating everyone they put in front of me, and you know, I devastated Gabriel Flores. And like, you know, a few months later, they were posting the videos over and over again, and got 30 million views here, millions of views here, millions of views. And I was surprised that Top Rank didn't want to resign me. I guess they said it wasn't exciting enough. Can you imagine that? One of the highest viewed things that they've been sharing in a while. And then they gave Gabriel Flores another shot and they gave him an opponent to look good against in Stockton. So weird, weird, man. I would like to
Well, that
know. I would love to fight one day again on a top rank card. Is all I'm saying. I find their choices confusing.
well, you know what? Next time I talk to Brad Goodman, I'm gonna throw your name out there, man, or Evan Korn. I'm gonna throw your name out there.
I appreciate it.
I want
I'll
to see what
maybe
the response.
maybe you can add, maybe you could get a better answer from me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand. It doesn't, and I'm right there with you. If they didn't re-sign you, yet they were posting a video, a highlight reel of you, and it did very well, very very well.
Amazingly, and then gave Gabriel Flores another chance. It's cool, man. But you know that's been my career. I am a plan upsetter, and some people get upset when they set up a certain fighter to win, and I come and ruin the plans. But And that's what I do, man. That's what I love to do.
Hey, man. Well, you know what? We got some more to talk about, but right now we're going to take a break. We're going to be coming right back. And when we come back, I'm going to go underneath the ring, inside and out with Mr. Gio himself. I got to get his take on these big fights coming up. I got to get a clear-cut winner. I'm not going to have him leave the show without him telling me who is going to win that big fight, Bud Crawford or Errol Spence, before the show is out. I'm your host, Richard Ortiz, and we'll be right back.
We're back, baby.
Hi, I'm Jana Uribe, and I am with the Fighter's Voice.
The Fighter's Voice.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Rich Ortiz, your host of The Fighter's Voice. And if you're just joining us, we have with us the undefeated, the brash, the handsome, the strong, the undefeated once again, Mr. Gio Cabrera. And listen right here, right now. You have a chance to be part of the Fighter's Voice team. If you're a sponsor and you're interested about having your company or your logo on the Fighter's Voice podcast, contact us. Make sure you subscribe to our channel, www.youtube.com/The Fighter's Voice. Remember, every fighter has a voice, and so do you. You know what, Gio? Before the break, I said I was going to pick your brain on the big fight that you're the co-main event on, and that's Bud Crawford, Errol Spence. It's better that it happened now than never, because every day that went by, it was losing some of the steam. It was losing some of the spark. It was losing some of the, man, I can't wait till this fight takes place. But it's a done deal now. Give me the keys to victory. What does Errol Spence need to do to be successful? And what does Bud Crawford need to do to be successful? As of right now, Gio, you're on the hot seat.
I think, first of all, I love Terrence Crawford has a complete fucking awesome style, man. Switches lefty and righty. He is like like a length. It's amazing that he could fight from a distance and seamlessly switch and have the kind of torque that he does. He's a real badass. You know, he grew up fighting on the streets. He's got that dog in him, and it's really just fucking fun to watch. Errol Spence is just completely poised. He's always in fucking awesome shape, man. He's got that strong build. He's got good defense. He's got patience. He's got timing, and I think the key to victory for Terrence Crawford is punching at the same time. You know, punching with Errol Spence. I think he's got that unorthodoxness, and he's got the angles, and and anybody that trades with Terrence Crawford gets into serious trouble. Errol Spence is just really disciplined. He knows how to put the pressure. If he can somehow keep his distance, be patient, and start breaking Terrence Crawford down to the body and doesn't get hit too much while doing so, I think he's going to be successful. I know. How old is Terrence Crawford? I don't know how Father Time has been treating him lately, but I know that Errol Spence is peaking. So in this fight, I'm leaning towards Errol Spence. Man, he's got the youth and the size, but I mean, stylistically, I mean, it's such a beautiful matchup. Terrence Crawford is an aggressive. Throws punches in bunches and just has good head movement, good defense. I think it's such an incredible matchup, man. I'm pretty 50-50 on this one, man. But I think if youth is on the side of the bigger man, I think Errol Spence is going to come in a little bit heavier. I think I don't know, man. I just whoever shows up that night best. But I think I'm leaning a little bit towards Errol Spence because of his defense. I know that there's been some of the fights, like let's say Gamboa. Shorty Gamboa versus Crawford. Gamboa was able to do some pretty good stuff in those early rounds, and it looked like a couple of times, he might have clipped Terrence Crawford pretty well. I don't know that if he could get away with getting clipped like that versus someone like Spence, but we'll see, man. We'll see. I mean, you can't. Terrence Crawford, he's got that fire in him. He's got that spirit. And so this is just a great match, and I'm so lucky to be part of this welterweight undefeated showdown on pay-per-view, man. And it's gonna be a great night for boxing, man. That's gonna be a war. My fight's gonna be a war, And I don't think anybody loses on that night, man. As long as you give an honest account of yourself, you know, this is what boxing is about, giving people great fights. I'm not trying to tiptoe or dance around careers, you know. Boxing is too fucking hard to do this forever just for what? For clout, for fame? I want to do it because I set out to become champion of the world, and I wanted to do it in the fashion of the greats that came before, you know. Fighting real fighters, fighting champions now, not later, not at any fucking time, you know. I'm 28 years old. I'm not getting any younger. I feel great, but I am getting better. I am getting better, and I think, you know, some people in their stages of their career, they don't get better. They only get better at what they're already good at. You know, I think I continuously continue to work on things that I'm not good at constantly and innovate new ways of boxing. You know, that's what gives me my unpredictability. And Pitbull Cruz, man, well, it's like they say, I guess. You know, you can't teach an old dog a new trick.
Well, very well said, man. I like the way you apply yourself. I want to get back on the Errol Spence and Bud Crawford, because we're going to get more in depth, and I'm going to get my keys to victory on yourself and Cruz before the end of the show. Gio, I've been going back and forth on this. I first started by saying, okay, I have Bud Crawford winning this fight at 147 pounds, but I have Errol Spence winning the rematch at 154 pounds because he's naturally the bigger man. Bud Crawford, he's mean in there. He's a very mean fighter. But lately, I don't think we're going to wait to get to 154 pounds. I think right now, as I feel today, and I may change it tomorrow, Errol Spence is too much of a technician, very calm, very poised. And, you know, it's okay to be unorthodox and switch when you need to, but is it going to be effective enough for Errol Spence? Because he's going to sit back there and counter you. I want to see who takes the center of the ring right off the gate, the opening bell. Right now, it boils down to who takes the stronger punch, the better punch. I think Errol Spence takes the better punch. I've noticed Bud kind of wobbly in a few fights. I saw Earl, feel uncomfortable with Showtime Sean Porter, but again, this may change. And you know what? I'm going to be honest. My answer that I give today, it's possibly going to change tomorrow. It's that type of fight. It's that type of prediction. I do notice Bud Crawford in camp already, having fun in camp. I've been in camp with him before. He loves to dance around. There's a song he likes. He loves to dance, loves to express himself. He's a very hard worker. Errol Spence really isn't releasing any footage, which you got to respect. When a tough fight, a big fight, he goes into closing. As of right now, man, if I had to pick a winner today, I'd have to go with Errol Spence. But like I said, Gio, that answer may change tomorrow morning. Yeah. It's that type of fight. Now, GIOVANNI CABRERA taking on Isaac "PITBULL" Cruz. What I like about Cruz is he brings the fight. He initiates the fight. He doesn't sit back. I mean, he initiated the fight with Tank Davis. He sure isn't going to change styles when it comes to you. He's going to apply pressure to you. He's going to wait for your counters. He's going to move his head around. A lot of people compare him to Mike Tyson. They call him the Mexican Mike Tyson. That pressure, if it's not kept with poise, if it's not controlled pressure, then I can see with your elusiveness that you're able to be successful with those counters. Again, I do feel comfortable with the power that you have, that you've been displaying your last couple of fights. Before, I just thought it was kind of like shoe shining, a little bit of pity-patty early in your career. But now you have that I want to call the respectable power, that when you do get into that exchange, Cruz is going to have to respect your power on some of those exchanges. It's going to be a great fight, man. It's going to be a great matchup. I just know that he is going to apply pressure and constantly try to suffocate you with his assault. I think if you stand tall and use your jab and use what's been working for you, as long as you keep that chin tucked in, because the man can pack a punch. What I do like about Isaac Cruz is he keeps his hands up for the counter. I mean, he showed that against Tank. He showed it against Gamboa before he loaded up that right hand. What I like about you, again, is your elusiveness, your confidence, your footwork, and just your strategy going in. It's hard to find an opponent like you to bring in sparring. So I have it. I've been going back and forth. I'll be honest with you. I've been going back and forth. At first, I was leaning towards Cruz 3-1. It's tightened up to 2-1. I have it going in now a 50-50 fight because I'm looking at the angles. I'm looking at the height. And I think you're going to put on more weight than he is. I think he's naturally the lighter guy. I can't see him moving up to 147 or even possibly 140s in his career. If he does, it's a bad extra meal on how you do it. I see you ending your career and a heavier division. So I'm looking for fireworks, just like you said. And I'm going to be biting my nails on that fight, man. So, you know, I'm not going to pick a winner today, but I will pick one week of. And it's hard to do, but it's easy at the same time. Being is because I don't let my closeness I have with fighters dictate my pick or the outcome on where I start to lean towards. But I will say this. Hats off to the matchmaker. This is one hell of a fight. Styles make fights. And like I said, you got a Mike Tyson and you got you kind of remind me of your awkwardness of watch some old film of Michael Spinks. You know, the way he would kind of move around a little bit. That would be the only one that I can really compare you to, man. So that unique style has been working for you 21 times, brother. So, you know, keep up the good work.
Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate that. That's not someone terrible to be compared to. So I like that. No, thank you, man. Yeah, I'm gonna continue to improve, man. Like I'm learning every day and I'm getting better, man. I'm getting better. So this is my opportunity to shine, let the people know who I am, what my style is, and I can give hell to any fighter. So it's gonna be a great night of boxing for everybody, July 29th.
Well, I'm going to be using your name from now on all the way up as a reference. And shame on the other fighters who want to sit back and say, well, send me the contracts, fix the numbers, or when am I fighting this guy? You didn't blink. You didn't hesitate to take on one of the monsters in the division. You know, a lot of people actually thought, people thought that Cruz beat Tank Davis, that it should have been a draw or Cruz should have been awarded the fight. So you're not fighting any slouch, and you didn't hesitate to say, yes, let's go.
Well, let's just slay the dragon right now. We're all men and we all bleed the same. He ain't no monster. Look at his first. Look at his first 15 fights. Who a monster, doesn't beat everyone with people who just got knocked out 5 or 6 times. I can look like a monster against a heavy bag as well. I can fight my cousin, beat him up, and look like a monster too. Not to say that he's not skilled. I respect him a lot. But like I said,
See what I pulled out?
you can make somebody look like Mike Tyson. Yeah, okay, great. Yeah, make me look like Mike Tyson, please. Give me after this fight. I want 5 easy opponents. You'll see a Mike Tyson. Trust me.
It's fight time, baby.
We all
it's fight time. See what I pulled out?
Oh.
Only on the fighter's voice, baby.
That's right, man. No,
It's fight time. That's the mentality that I want. That's what I want to hear, Gio. I don't want to hear, if I win. Now you're ready to rock and roll. You're waiting for that first battle ring.
Listen. I sparred one of the greatest fighters of all time, Manny Pacquiao, and he's one of my personal heroes, and he was mortal just like me. He got hit with my jab, and he got hit with my left hand just like everybody else, and he hit me just like anyone else as well. So I'm not making monsters up in my imagination. I'm not afraid of no man. I'm only afraid of God. That's it.
That's right. Well, I'm glad I pumped you up, man. I'm glad I motivated you. I'm glad you got something out of tonight's show,
that's
my
right,
man.
brother. That's right. Thank you.
I remember, I forgot what it was. The last time you were on the show, you got witty on me too. You kind of said, well, hold on a second. And you go, no. You said something. I can't remember what it was, but it stuck with me for a while. And after the show was over, I was talking to my producer and I said, hey, I like when he said this. And they agreed. We had a good chuckle after that. I love that. I love knowing that only on the fighter's voice, we bring out the best out of everybody. And that's facts, brother.
Absolutely, brother. I love being here. Maybe we'll do another one closer to the fight.
Yeah, that's what I want to do. I actually want to, honestly, I want to talk to Sean and I want to bring you both on at the same time. I want to bring on Isaac Cruz and I want to bring on GIOVANNI
Let's do
Cabrera.
it. Saturday.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you're
More than
good
happy.
for it. And, I'll get a hold of the manager, Sean Gibson.
We'll sell
Gibbons.
tickets. How's that?
There you go. There you go. There you go. I think it'll be good. It'll be good for the boxing world, and maybe one of these stations will use it. So, listen, you got the fight. The fight is set. You're not going to let anything distract you. You seem to be 100% healthy. Mentally, you're ready. You're putting in the preparation. Frady in your corner. Gio, it doesn't get any better than this. You couldn't have written this in a movie. You couldn't have written this in your dreams laying down at night. You're going to be on the biggest platform. It's going to break pay-per-view records. The numbers are going to be through the roof. Everybody's going to tune in because you're the show before the show begins. And, only on the fighter's voice, the only voice that matters, that we bring the guests that matters, the guests that are relevant, the guests with the opportunities, the guests with the numbers, and the guests with the knockouts. When I say that next to your name, and knowing that after that fight takes place, you will, in fact, have the opportunity of being a household name and your life's about to change. How does that make you feel?
Makes me feel great, man. I feel like you know, I feel like I deserve to be here. I know I deserve to be here. I'm gonna prove that I deserve to be here. I think, respect to all the fighters that are here at this level. Some of you guys had easier paths to get here, and it's perfect timing, man. I don't think it would have been possible to happen sooner, man. This is my time. Everything to its own time, man. You can't force anything. So now I'm here.
Yeah, yes, you are, man. And before I let you go, I want to give a shout out to a few people. I want to say happy birthday to Top Rank's undefeated heavyweight Richard Torres Jr. I want to give a big shout out to Isidro Ochoa, who I'm rocking his shirt today. He gave me a call personally, and he says, "Richard, I got a fight in July coming up in San Francisco." He had a long layoff, but he's ready to go. Andy Vincent, who contacted me once. Al Tiburon from San Jose. Once his fight is laid out and complete, he's going to come down to the Fighter's Voice in person and rock and roll. So I want to say to these guys, I appreciate you guys. You're always been a supporter of the Fighter's Voice. The only voice that matters, man. And just know I'm going to be in Las Vegas watching that fight, covering that fight. I'm going to run into you personally. We're going to take a picture together, and I'm going to hand you an official Fighter's Voice t-shirt.
Absolutely, man. Can't wait.
Well, listen, how do we follow you, man? I mean, or do you have any news you want to drop? Anything you want to say to any sponsors or anything? Or how can we follow you on Instagram? What's your Twitter? I mean, do you got a
Yeah.
YouTube channel? What's going on in the life of
Follow
Gio
me on
Cabrera?
Instagram at Gio Cabrera Boxing, and I want to give a shout out to my people, everybody from Downers Grove South High School, everybody from Downers Grove, my people in Chicago. I love every single one of you. I know you're gonna be watching, man. We all come from the same place. My people in León, Guanajuato, donde la vida no vale nada. To all my family, everyone that supported me, man. We're all in this together. This is gonna be a big fucking night. It's gonna be a legendary night. None of us will ever forget it, and I'm excited, man.
Right on, man. I mean, and hey, everybody at Wildcard, I say, what's up? Miguel Salazar, what's happening, my man? And give Freddie my best, give Marie my best, as you always do. And who's going to be your cut man in the corner? Who's your cut man? Is it Mike Rodriguez, or who's working your corner with Freddie?
We're talking about it. Potentially Mike Rodriguez. Yes, good friend. Love him. If he's available, I think he'll definitely be part of that. So we'll see.
Hey, absolutely, man. And just know we're going to be rocking with you, supporting you, man. It's always a pleasure having you on the show. You're always a class act. You're very professional at what you do. And I do want to squeeze in a time, man. But right before a fight week, man, we got to squeeze you in or do something
And
live
I
there in
think
Las
this
Vegas.
might be the last interview I do until the fight. I'm getting everything lined up, all
Okay.
my business lined up, so I don't have to think about anything. I'm just, I'm cutting out all distractions. I've been training for a long time. I've been ready for my fight. I've been ready for a few different fights, and nothing's different. If the fight was in 2 weeks,
Get on down, brother.
if the fight was in 2 weeks, I'd be ready in 2 weeks. So I can't. I don't know. I can't say the same for Pitbull, but I know that I am. I know my situation. I'm fucking ready. I'm getting locked in. So
Exactly. You know why I'm laughing? I'm not laughing at you, brother, because 15 minutes ago you said, yeah, I'll come back on the show. But you know what? That light is on, brother. I'm not going to be a distraction. You're ready to get down. Like I said, you're waiting for that bow to ring. I love the attitude. You got the perfect attitude for a big fight coming up. You want no distractions. You're all business, man. And, that's a coach's dream. That's exactly what a fighter mentality a fighter needs to have, especially leading up to a big event.
absolutely, brother. I appreciate that. Yeah, we'll be in contact soon. Fighter's Voice, Richard Ortiz. Thank you for having me, brother. Let's do it again. I won't be doing any more interviews until the night of until fight week. We'll do one, and hopefully we can get that going with Pitbull. I want to hear what he has to say.
Yeah, exactly. I'm open up to Sean to see if that will happen and that's available. Maybe you'll make a cameo and just call in or something, and we'll make that happen, man. We'll make it work. It's only going to hype the fight up. I know Showtime will love it because let's everybody's about the main event, but they don't understand. They got a great co-main event coming up with some great matchmaking on this big fight here. So absolutely, make sure you give Marie my best and Freddie my best. I'm Rich Ortiz, your host of the Fighter's Voice, the only voice that matters. And I'm like our guest, Gio Cabrera. Why? Because we're simply knocking out the competition.
Let's go.
And if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe. www.youtube.com/thefightersvoice. And as always, this is the best part of the show. It's a wrap. Thumbs up for Richie.
Okay, fight fans, it's not goodbye, but until next week.
Remember.
It's always voiceography at its finest. So on behalf of Richard Ortiz, the special guests, and all the crew, saying hasta luego, babies. And always, thanks for listening.